Reawakening. Hello again, and welcome to Reawakening, the Subconscious Mind podcast with spiritual life coach and dream interpreter Yvonne Ryba. I'm your host, Chris Mann, and in this episode, we take a look at dreams that include signs of the Zodiac. When is a crab just a crab? When is a bull just a bull? Well, if someone in your dream, either you, the dreamer, or another person, is a sign that falls under one of those symbols, for instance, I'm a Taurus, then perhaps the bull represents you or someone else in the dream. Yvonne dissected a dream I had in the 70s with a bull and included another person in the dream that was also a Taurus. She gave me a lot of insight about what that bull really meant in that dream. Well, now she shares a dream that she had in the early 1980s. In the dream was her first husband, who was born under the sign of Cancer, symbol of the crab. So a crab with the husband in the dream takes on a lot of different dimensions. Yvonne's going to share with us, once again, her fascinating insights. Greetings again, Yvonne.
Hello, Chris.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Fantastic. Do you have another great dream from one of your clients or from your own personal file?
Yes, this is from my file.
Perfect.
I have books and books of dreams over the years, and so this is one of an earlier dream that I had in 1982.
Wow, retro.
Yeah, before some people were born who hear this. So this is 16th of January, 1982, and this was the year that we moved across from England to the United States. But we didn't do that for another, 11 months. We moved in the December of 82. And so at this point, when this dream happened, we were trying to get organized to move. We had an attorney over here, going through the paperwork and so on. And we were going to put our house up for sale. My husband was going to sort his business out so that he could leave it. Matter of fact, he was working at it until 2 weeks before we left. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the background to this dream. And my husband's name was Temp, and we used to call him Temp for short. Mm-hmm. So in the dream, Temp was sitting on a sofa with his feet stretched out and reading a newspaper. And now the sofa was in a very poor condition. It had holes in it, and you could see through the holes, you could see springs sticking out, and there was something moving inside of this thing, which I was not too happy about, I can tell you.
Okay, yeah.
I'm standing behind the sofa, but close enough to the end where I could see this hole, and then I saw a long white leg poking out of it, which retreated back in.
Uh-oh.
Quickly, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid, and I tried to tell Temp, I was trying to say, there's something possibly dangerous living inside that sofa, you need to pick up. Well, then a very large white crab came out of this hole. And I was absolutely horrified. Who would have thought a flipping crab would have come out?
Creepy.
Yeah, very creepy. And the big one as well, very big. So here I am, trying to tell him to get on with it, get rid of that thing. But he wasn't very alarmed at all. He was very cool about the whole deal. And then, as dreams do, the scene kind of fuzzed over.
Yeah.
And then the next part of the dream was Temp offering me some cooked crab on a plate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of like Alaskan King Crab, okay? When I say like, it was, because we'd had some when we were in Texas the year before.
Uh-huh.
So he said it was silly to worry about this crab, and that he cooked it and made use of it. And wasn't that more sensible?
So it was Alaskan couch crab.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the dream. Okay. So I woke up, and of course, during that year, I had a lot of dreams referring to we were going to leave our country, we're going to move across to another country, we're going to start afresh. There are a lot of alarming worries. How is this going to work?
Sure.
The desire to move was exciting, but then when you're faced with the realities of selling up, packing your stuff up, saying goodbye to your families, that kind of thing, it hits home.
Daunting.
Yeah, very. So here's what I wrote down after that. So Temp's zodiac sign was Cancer the crab. And mine, by the way, is Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio. So I always identified him with this crab from the Zodiac because he was a very hard-shelled kind of a person, but he had a very soft inner body. He was generous and kind and sensitive and so on. He had all those things, but he could be very tough on the outside.
Right. Anyway,
he seems to be making in the dream very short work of my worry and fear and converting it into something that, as he said, let's make it into something that we can use.
Mm-hmm.
And food is a great symbol for what sustains us, what keeps us, money, jobs, opportunity, all those things.
Sure.
So it's all about us emigrating, and I was thinking in the dream that first he was lying down on the job when he was lying on this sofa.
Mm-hmm.
But really, when it came to it, he could tackle whatever it was. What to me was scary, to him was just an opportunity to make it into something better. And here's an interesting thing, that we'd had Alaskan King Crab, I think probably the first time ever, when we'd been to the U.S. the year before. I'd been coming since 78 to visit my sister. And then I think Temp came in 79, and then we came in 81.
Uh-huh.
And so in 82 we were going to move across. And we'd had this Alaskan King Crab, and it was incredible, of course, because we don't have that kind of crab in England. Although I would eat crab quite a lot in England because I live near the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much everybody in England lives near the coast anyway. So this was interesting because it put him as a king. He was the boss. He was somebody in control. He could handle it.
I see.
And I hadn't got to worry. And the dream was telling me, it may seem scary, but it's going to be okay. You can handle it.
I'll be darned. Previously you have shared with us that oftentimes in dreams, even when you're dreaming about someone else, that often represent parts of the dreamer. But in this instance, this was really more a dream about Temp, yeah. I think, and the crab was another way of confirming that, being the sign of his zodiac. This was about him and his role in your life.
It's true. And there were two things that worried me. One was, did he really want to go? Because he was going to be leaving. My mother and father were still alive. His mother was still alive. His two daughters, who had grown up, of course, and had children, were there too. But, this was our chance to do something different.
Yeah.
We were both feeling stifled and not being able to do what we wanted to do. And here we had an opportunity to start up something totally fresh. And we really wanted to do it. So I was worried that he might not want to do it. But he did. He did go for it.
Great.
So there was that. That was kind of lying down on the job in my mind, that he didn't want to go.
Uh-huh.
Or that he wasn't that bothered about it. But he did. When it came to it, he was very good. And we did it. I've been over here now 3 years in December.
33 years.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was your subconscious's way of telling you that everything was going to be okay, no matter how scary it was, and that he was going to make it happen. Because his work is what brought you to the States, right?
That's right. He was a specialist in decorative art and only worked for people who had big houses and lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked in River Oaks in Houston and Beverly Hills and homes like that all over the country, and saw some incredible places and met some really incredible people.
Wonderful.
And very interesting life, but
yeah,
the life of an artist is a bit of an up and a downer.
It's a scary one sometimes.
Very.
Yeah.
However, it was something that when you look back on it, you wouldn't change it.
No.
Because you see how you grow from these experiences, and also you've been places that other people don't or haven't got the chance to be there or do these things. And it was a very fulfilling life, really, and I'm glad we did it. Really, very glad. I'll tell you one thing that comes to my mind. The very, very beginning when we started to do this, I talked about our dream dictionary.
Yes.
And we have the dream dictionary that's universal, in which everybody has the same kind of feeling about, like, the ocean. It represents life itself.
Mm-hmm.
It can represent spirit and so on. But the sofa in this dream that had holes in it was from my personal dream dictionary of when I was much younger, when I was still, I think, probably 16 or something, and still in, high school.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend, we'd gone to her house, and they didn't have a very nice house, I can tell you. Their sofa in that house had big holes in it, and I could see springs through it. When I woke up, I recognized this sofa. I'd had that dream many, many years later, but here this sofa appeared from my dream dictionary with the holes in it. And in the actual life, I had seen a mouse run into that sofa.
Oh, really?
Into that hole, yeah. And I'd said, I've just seen a mouse going into your sofa. And she said, yes, it lives in there. Which to me was staggering, that somebody would let a mouse live in their sofa.
This was real life.
Yeah. It was like I went home and told my mother I couldn't get over it. But, that sofa, I think, gosh, how many years would that be later? 82, and I was probably 60. Probably, it could have been the late 50s.
Yeah.
When I saw this, all right?
So a good...
all those years later.
25 years later.
That sofa appeared in a dream.
I'll be darned.
That's how you've got everything inside of you that you've ever done, and it can be used by your subconscious to identify with something.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and that to me was a scary sofa, okay? So when I needed a scary sofa, out it came.
Out it came from the warehouse of the subconscious.
It sure did, yeah.
Good stuff. So pay attention to the universal symbols and then pay attention to the personal symbols and things of meaning as well, because you can piece those things together to get a very personalized reading of your dream.
Yes, absolutely.
Great stuff as always, Yvonne. A short but potent dream. So don't discard those little short dreams that may just seem like throwaways. They might have a lot of stuff packed into them. Oh,
absolutely, Chris. I've had dreams that have just been one single thing, but very vivid. And when I woke up, the energy from that dream, the colors being vivid, the actual thing itself just being somebody appearing, I was amazed and knew that it had a great meaning for me. So yes, it doesn't have to be a long dream. But these kind of interesting messages that people say, well, I had a really crazy dream where this crab came out of a sofa. Now, that is a really interesting dream because it has a lot of symbolism.
Right. And you've also got to stop and go, crab can represent the sign of the Zodiac.
Absolutely. Well, I had a series of dreams with scorpions, which I knew referred to me. So, if you've got a dream with a lion and you're a Leo or whatever, just think about it. Does that refer to me?
Yes, I've had a dream, and we dissected it some time ago, about a bull, and I'm a Taurus. And there was another person in it that is a Taurus, too. So good stuff, Yvonne. I always enjoy you going through your personal journals.
Thank you.
So we'll catch up again later this fall and see what you have for us then.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care, Yvonne.
And you too, Chris. Bye-bye.
Reawakening with Chris Mann and Yvonne Ryba is a Rising Action Media production. Copyright 2015 by Chris Mann.